smoke, ain't nobody at all. Doctors, we body them all. The prophets is back and we pulling your cards. Your pastor a lie, he a fraud. You messed up and stepped in a room full of gods and hopped in a pool full of sharks. So watch what you saying when you do respond, or get left looking foolish and odd. Like who that one smoke, ain't nobody at all. Doctors, we body them all. The prophets is back and we pulling your cards. Your pastor a lie, he a fraud. You messed up and stepped in a room full of gods and hopped in a pool full of sharks. So watch what you saying when you do respond. Yeah.
Go read that verse 48.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Hold on, whoa. We broke God's commandments and God said what?
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
What that means, Sister Toya? What that means, God said you're going to serve your enemies. What's another word for that? What's another word for serving your enemies, Chris?
Sorry?
What's another word for serving your enemies? It's a simple word, start with an S. Read it again while he thinks.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
To serve your enemies, what's that called? Slavery. Slavery. You know black people went into slavery, right? The question is, why? Because we broke God's commandments. That's the answer. We broke God's commandments and he put us in slavery. Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
God said, since you don't want to serve me, fine, serve your enemies then. So what that means? It's people out here that don't like us. Who do you think that is? Don't be scared now. Who do you think it is that don't like black people?
White.
Come on with it, say it again.
White people.
White people. But guess what? Not just white people. The Arab man, the Chinese man, even the African man. You do know that Africans and Israelites are two different things.
Right. Bring it up.
Africans and Israelites are two different things. We look the same, but we different. You know what Africans call us? They call us kata. Kata. Like the white man call us nigger, they call us kata. You know what that means? Cotton picker.
Bring it up.
The African call you cotton picker. That's not our people. They call Hamites. We call the children of God.
That's right.
You understand that? That's some knowledge for you today. Now read that.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
Who?
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
The Lord sent them against us. When they came on the ships, and we got on the ships, right? The Lord sent them to get us and bring us over here to America. Read it.
In hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
It said in hunger, that's your food. In nakedness, that's your clothes. In water, your water bill. Everything that you want. Do we provide any of those things for ourselves? Can you just be like, so let's say the water company is having to cut your water off. Can you tell them, no, don't cut my water off, leave it on? No, they're going to cut it off. And the people who run the water company, what color are they? White. How is that possible when we the chosen people? How can they take our water when we the chosen people? Read that for me in Lamentation 5. Lamentation chapter 5, verse 4. I'm going to show y'all something. This the Bible talking like this. Read that.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 5 and verse 4.
Read that.
We have drunken our water for money.
Hold on, wait a minute. The Bible say we drunk our own water for money. If it's yours, what you got to pay for it for? Because we broke God's commandments. And he sent our enemies to rule over us, and then they charged us for our own water. Let me make it real for you. You ever heard of the Native American Indians? Y'all know the Indians, right? The Indians. So this they land. They was here first. That's why you got these places like Tupelo County, Choctaw County, Chickasaw County, right? Because the Indians were here first. But how is it that the white man came in and kicked them off their own land and put them on reservations?
Bring it up.
How did that happen? Because the Indians are also the children of Israel. Look right here, Gad. You see that? It says American Indians. That's your brothers and sisters right there. And when they broke God's commandments, he let their enemies come in and take their land. Now you don't even hardly see an Indian around here no more.
Right.
You hardly even see an Indian. How you doing, sis? Hey, come here, let me show you something real quick. Since you're an Indian, I want to show you something. Go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28. 48.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
How you doing, sis?
I'm blessed.
You blessed? What's your name?
Josette.
Josette. You do look like an Indian too. So you really, guess what? Your real nationality is that you are an Israelite.
That's right.
That's your real nationality. You heard of the Israelites before, right? The Israelites are God's chosen people. But I'm going to show you. White man came in here and took your land from you.
He took my land.
Read it.
I'm in
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Read it aloud.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So guess what? We ended up serving our enemies.
You know what
And guess what? We still serve our enemies today.
You know what 1 Timothy say
What did it say, sis?
about the root? Money is the root of all evil.
Money is the root of all evil. But guess what?
He took
The
my
love of money is. Now watch this. We end up having to serve our enemies, right? And we still do it today. Like, if you want to pay your bills, what you got to do? You got to go to work. Where you work at? Behold? What is that? It's a furniture company. Oh, I know it's rough in there, ain't it? Who run the furniture? Who run the furniture company?
White.
Come on, man. You know it's white people. And who the one doing? Who building all the furniture in there?
Black.
The blacks, ain't it?
Blacks too.
And you got Mexicans in there.
Yeah.
But guess what? Look at this sign. When you look at the sign, what is it on here?
It's a car.
It's a car. What is a car at? I can't even see. Right here. It's a car. You see that? What it say? Mexicans. They also Israelites. So that's why y'all end up working together.
Bring it out.
The Mexicans and the blacks are really the chosen people, and they still serving their enemies to this day. You see that? We still under the curses. You know why? Because we still breaking the Sabbath day. In 2022, we still breaking the Sabbath day, and God still got the same old curses on us. So guess what? The Bible's still real, and the only way to change it is to do what? Keep the commandments. We got to keep the commandments. Read on.
In hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
And what did it say, Chris? What did it say?
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
It says he shall put what around our neck? A yoke of iron. Do you know what that look like? Look. Now y'all know we read the Bible, right? So what the Bible telling you? Your history. The yoke of iron on their neck. It didn't happen because we don't know how to protect ourselves. We know how to fight. We fight each other all the time. Why we couldn't stop the white man from putting chains around our neck? Because God put these curses on us. And the only way to get the curses off of us is to do what, Chris? Keep the commandments. You got to keep the commandments. You know God won't even hear your prayer if you break the commandments. You know that? You knew that? You want me to show you in the Bible? I'm going to show you in the Bible. Read that, John chapter 9, verse 31. You good. John chapter 9, verse 31. Because I asked him the question, what do we got to do in order to break the curses? The answer is keep the commandments. But he said pray. But I'm going to show you something. God will not even hear your prayer if you don't keep the commandments. You got that?
Yes, sir.
Read it.
The book of John, chapter 9 and verse 31. Now we know that God heareth not sinners.
Wait a minute, do what?
Now we know that God heareth not sinners.
God don't even hear sinners. What are you doing when you're praying? You're trying to talk to God, right? He don't hear that if you're in the midst of sin.
Right.
Why your preacher ain't told you that? You don't know. Why your preacher ain't told you that? I'm asking.
God is a sinner's prayer.
Now, this is the $1 million question. What scripture is that?
I ain't never seen that scripture. I just heard it in a lot of songs.
You heard in the song. Guess what? It ain't real. It's a lie. What they want to do is keep us at the bottom. Read it again.
Now we know that God heareth not sinners. But if any man be a worshiper of God, and doeth his will.
And doeth what?
And doeth his will. Him he heareth.
Now, if you do God's will, he'll hear your prayer. What do you think God's will is? Psalms 40 and 8. What do you think God's will is? If you sinning, he don't hear your prayer.
To be done.
Huh?
To be done.
To be done? Yeah, his will has to be done, but what do you think it is? If you sinning, I'm gonna tell you right now. If you cook some bacon for breakfast, right? Which is pork, which is what you're not supposed to eat according to the Bible, and then you pray over it, God don't hear you.
Right.
You know what happened? We end up getting diabetes behind that. We end up getting sick behind that. Even though you prayed to bless the pork, it still made you sick. Why? Because God don't hear your prayer because you're still sinning. You're supposed to not eat the pork. And then you're supposed to eat the foods that God sanctified to be good for you.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do. Now, if you do his will, he'll hear your prayer. What is his will?
The book of Psalms chapter 40 and verse 8. Delight to do thy will, O my God.
I delight to do what?
Thy will, O my God.
Tell me what that is.
Yea, thy law is within my heart.
God's law. God's law has to be in your heart. If you do God's law, then he will hear your prayer. If you do what God tells you to do, then he'll take the time to listen to you. But if you disobey him, he don't want to hear it. He don't want to hear it. You understand that, sis? Now go back to Deuteronomy 28. I'm going to show you something. How did we get over here on ships? I just told you. How did we get over here in America? I just told you the answer. How did we get to America? Like black people, how did we get over here? On ships, right? Now this is my question. You know that, right? They put us on a ship as cargo. They put chains around us. And then they brought us across the ocean to America. And then when we got off the ships, they sold us, right? Do you know that's in the Bible? I'm for real, it's in the Bible. You know that's in the Bible? I'm gonna show y'all, read it. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Now wait a minute. We're still reading the scriptures about breaking God's commandments. When you break his commandments, the curses come. Do you think that coming over here on a slave ship was a curse? Yes. Being brought anywhere on a slave ship is a curse. Look at what he say. Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemy.
Now, when you get off of those ships, right? When you get off the ships, what happened? They sold us, right? You ever seen like slave movies? Like when they put you on an auction block, and then they be like, oh, $20 or $200 for that one right there, and then you sold to Master Charles in Virginia. That's what the Bible's saying. But this book was not written yesterday. This book was written like thousands of years ago. But guess what? It came to pass. Just like the scripture said it, it happened. Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
So when you got sold, when our ancestors got sold, they were sold as bondmen and bondwomen. What you think that means? Slave men and slave women. They were sold into slavery. That's what it's telling you. For breaking God's commandments, God put us in slavery on the ships. This is the answer. You probably never even asked, why was black people slaves? Out of all the people in the world, why you only know black people to be slaves?
Right.
It's because we, the chosen people, our Father gave us commandments and we disobeyed them. And because we still disobey them today, our conditions are still the same. Today, our slavery is updated. We live in modern day slavery now. You understand? And the slavery today is more so like they keep us in jail. We could be innocent and they still throw us in jail. And what they do when they put us in jail, they put us on a chain gang. They put chains around our wrists, around our ankles. And guess what we do? We work for free. That's slavery today. Guess what else they do? They give you a job, right? And then they give you just enough money to pay your bills. And if you quit your job, then guess what? You broke and you can't pay your bills. Do you think that's the way life's supposed to be? No. But who is it happening to? Black people. That's who it's happening to. The Chinese folks ain't going through that. We going through that because why? We the chosen people and we break our God's commandments.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.